Today MJ is at work, but will be back here midway through the day to help me with what we're about to be talking about. And I'm here solo doing this. So what we're going to be doing today is actually demolishing some of my such hard van work build. I spent, I think, 2 months or 3 months building this van into the current condition that it is in. This is about the rebuild, so a lot of people enjoy the helpful information we can provide when building things like this, and even if it's small to some people and easy to some people, it might be very difficult to others. So I enjoy making these kinds of films too, because I think everybody can kind of benefit from the knowledge. But without further ado, let's get into what we're doing. So this is my current van setup, and I originally designed this van to be like a toy hauler, motorcycle-y made around van, so that way I could pull in my motorcycles, ideally one bike, because I'm only one person, my girlfriend doesn't ride, so I wanted to pull in my bike through the back doors and be able to, that was the Bluetooth speaker, be able to have a chuck here and mount my bike right here, and then mount it down and drive everywhere with my bike, anywhere I wanted. Then have this actually as a pop-up camper style, where these both here were 2 boxes, chests, like, where they held all of my clothes, and are only about maybe a foot from the wheel well in depth, maybe 2 feet from actual, and I mean full all in all. And then this one on this side is around the same size. We had a table that I had custom made to come up, and we originally, with our first bed, we had some foam pieces that we made into a little mattress, and it allowed it to be like a booth seat, like a pop-up camper. So when we didn't have a motorcycle in here, this could either be, this area right here could be one of 3 things: a table, kitchen setup, a bed, or a motorcycle hauling vehicle. So all of which was still in consideration when building this next idea. But what had happened was the diameter between this van wall here and the other side van wall here is not long enough for me to sleep. And I am 5'9", so this is not 5'9". I would say it's probably like 5, I want to say 5'7", because it was just almost enough. And it's just not, I can't sleep like that. We've been sleeping diagonal for 5 months, 6 months now, and we finally got some free wood, so I'm going to take advantage of some free lumber to build this and rebuild it to the right way. I already ran into my first problem though, and that problem was the fact that I wanted to put my sink here, and when thinking about this entire process, I completely forgot about this giant pump and this wheel well here that takes up so much room. So when I bring this wall, my idea is to bring this wall in and get rid of this box altogether, and then put the sink here. But the sink will not be able to have all the plumbing and gray water tank with my fresh water tank that feeds into the sink, with the wheel well and this pump being here. It just won't work. It's not possible. So you run into these problems often, and this is a good example to make, that you gotta always be able to change other things, and that's just the way the van should always be built. Be able to change things when you're building, because things will not always be the best way right away. You got to kind of learn with living in here what's built for you. So my fast on the go thinking brought me to the sink is actually going to be installed where this stuff is. It's going to be more work than intended, but it always will be. Always expect to work twice as hard on a build, because you never know what to expect. So I'm going to end up removing this sink from here and bringing it over to where the fridge is. Then my gray water tank will be mounted down there, and I'm going to cut this shelf out to be able to put my fresh water tank right under here. That way I'll still have some counter space to do my dishes, and I really enjoy having a sink. Not everybody needs a sink. Not even everybody likes having a sink. They think that it's a lot of space. You can have collapsible sinks if you do want a small sink, or you can have what I have, and I really enjoy this sink. So it's not only storage for dirty dishes and dirty things, it's also a running sink. So I really think this is something that I enjoy using a lot. So I'm going to keep it in my van when I continue to build on to my van. My sink is a classic kitchen sink with only cold water. And you can see there's some dirty dishes and a flower taking a bath down in there already. Poor flower. And it's powered via a pump. I'm going to remove the sink to this side, then bringing this stove over to here. And once I mount the stove here, I'll consider more shelving options and overhead cabinet work over the wall here. This entire wall has kind of just cheaped out over the time of being on the road, so I'm going to completely rebuild that as well. I'm pretty excited to have a new wall, all in all. But let's get started on the tear apart. I'm pretty nervous to start tearing apart where I've invested all my money, so we're going to be careful, take our time, and make sure this goes well and looks good when we're done. Right now, I'm sanding the wood that was outside, and with some small sanders that have some really bad grit sandpaper, so I gotta figure out some kind of sandpaper options. Because these will have to be sanded really well, so then we can bring them back to life and put them in the van correctly before you bring mold and things into your home. Yeah, so far it's so good. It's been pretty easy, but pretty wonky, so we have to make sure everything's flushed and ready to rock, but it's coming along nicely. Alright, so a little update. We got brand new sheets of sandpaper now. I'm actually going to let that cool down while I'm talking. Bringing these boards back to life, and they are really working. It looks so nice. This is nice and smooth. We're going to break these edges with the smaller sander and then put these in for the down pieces on our cabinet. Once these are put in, we'll be able to start building the side wall cabinet and the overhead cabinetry. But it's coming along nicely. Let's get into this sanding. So day 2 on the van rebuild, and I've just finished ripping out the sink. And the sink is actually placed in full one part right there. Came out really nice and easy. I should be able to reuse all of the boards that was used to create the sink in the next build. I'm going to end up taking this piece of trim off here too, because I'm assuming that we're going to re-trim out what we need for the next time that we put that on there. But so far, yesterday we've completed the moving my box in another foot and remounting the stove over top of our next storage cabinet down there. And then we built 3 new additional cabinets here. These took a long time to build right here, these 3 cabinets. And then the overhead cabinetry is what I'll be working on today, along with remounting the sink into there. It's a work in progress, but look at all the room. You could walk in, you got all this room. Oh yeah. We have mold. We have mold in our bus. This is our 2004 GMC Savanna, and we have just built this interior about 5 months ago. And this was where the sink was. This is wood glue you're seeing here, and moisture must have gotten from the sink and water and doing all the dishes down underneath and then into the surface area of the plywood. So now I'm going to sand this surface off, bring it back to life, and then I'll paint over this and put the new flooring over this once we're all done. But this is a lot of room to open up. I mean, man, my whole door is just ginormous now. Today is day 5 on the build day, and the build day is coming along really, really nicely. Like always, we're always short on filming. We never film what we really need to film, and I really hate that about myself. I don't get on myself hard enough to get on the film that we need. So I'm gonna start doing that. I just gotta start. That's just it, you know, it's just my mistake. I gotta realize it. I gotta acknowledge the mistake and start fixing it. That's just it. That's the kind of person I am, driven to just change for the better. But day 5 is coming along nicely. We got the shelves over here are complete, and now we just need the panel board to be on the side. Then we'll get to the painting later. I actually got something really cool, special surprise for the countertop that I'm saving to tell you guys because I'm super, super stoked about it. I just got off the phone with my dad, and he actually said that it's possible to do this, and I'm really, really excited. I might even end up doing. Oh man, I just can't. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it because it's just too exciting. It's too cool. It's gonna look too awesome in here, and it's super exciting. With what we have right now, I have to mount my sink over here where my old stove was, and now the stove is going to be moved over there, and then over here was the design that we had went with was a pop-up camper where we had 2 bench seats and a table that popped up in the middle and allowed you to sit on both sides. Now with this new design, we have a living room setup design where it's more of a futon couch that has these boards that we made this ourselves. Everything was just made ourselves. You pull this and it extends the bed out a few more inches. I think it's 6 to 10 inches we built it to be, so it's just a little bit bigger than a twin size bed, which was all we felt we needed in here because we're only 2 people and we've slept in college beds and things our whole life, so we're pretty used to sleeping in twin beds, especially together. So this is a super cool design. It's actually giving us a ton more living space, and I'm super stoked about this design. I've been waiting for this for months. We've been planning this out for months, and now I got the free lumber. We only spent $60 or $50 so far on this lumber here to build this bed. And what a deal that was, because now we're going to have an actual functioning bed that's still going to give us a lot of living space for my puppy and my cat. And I also want to go ahead and get some more of these as I get the budget and redo all my handles to my pull doors in these big steel piping bars, because these are just so cool and they hold so much things with like weight wise once you mount them. They're rustic look, and that's what I'm going for, a cabin rustic look. Today in Wisconsin, it is so hot. Right now, filming this clip, oh my god, I am just sweating in this van though. Side note, I know you guys can't feel the temperature through the video, but oh my god, this hippie's getting hot. Today's agenda, I have to build the rest of the framework underneath here. I'm gonna grab you guys. Underneath the bed here, I have to build the rest of this framework to hold this part, because I did have original box back here that I kept for the framework. That way I didn't have to use too much lumber and use what I already had, which was smart. Save yourself money if you can reuse your boards. Putting the finishing touches on our bed frame here. Building the rest of the frame out here so we can add more storage. And the 6 feet long bed.
Doing way more stuff than we are.
She is notching out the boards. Hi, MJ.
Hi.
The videos never get to see you.
Hey!
She is notching out the plywood to go right there so we can have cabinets there right away.
We need extra long screws.
Yep, to get down in from here through here. Explain kind of what we did here so that way people will know.
We did this mattress, bed frame, this is what I have in my truck. Alright, where you can grab this end and you can pull it all the way out. I'm not gonna do that. But you can pull it out, as you can see, and then it lines back up into a smaller frame. Right now, yeah, like you said, we built the bed frame, or we're building the extra frame because we had to go past the original frame, which this is right here. That's the original.
So we just added on to our 1.5 inch 2x4s that we cut in half, centered them, and then cut them into the piece. What this will do is actually
rather than just using 2x4s, this reduces a ton of the weight, because you don't want to use full-size boards if you don't have to, especially when you're talking about weight to gas mileage ratio. So the less weight, the better.
We had to split. This is our first board we split, actually. This one right here.
Because we don't have a table saw, so we've been using some different equipment to do it. But
just a regular hand saw.
And it works.
Works. But
are you excited to be building your rig now this weekend as well?
yeah, I'm sick and tired of building Yeti and MJs.
You love it.
You could stop a blade inside there.
Explain to us what's going on right now, MJ.
Well, we're redesigning our build, and right now we're working on the sink. So we're trying to cut it out and